Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Cornerstone Life Class. And of course, my husband is not here again on time. I don't know what I'm going to have to do with that young man. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. First one here is Kelly. KK, hey, sweetie, you're the first one here tonight. And here comes Deb as the runner-up. Joe's coming in third place. Wow. Hey, sissy and brother-in-law. Love you guys so much. Glad you guys are tuning in. Didi and George. Hey, sweetening, how are you? How are you? There's Linda Langdon. Linda. I'm going to send you a link tonight, Linda. I'm going to send you a link through your email. And it won't be Zoom, but it'll be through StreamYard. So it's real easy as pie. And there's Brother Kay. How are you? Glad you're good. We still got our thing working upstairs. Thanks so much for your help. And then hey, Vern, how are you, my darling? I've been thinking about you today, you and Johnny. Been thinking about you a bunch. Hope everything's going good. And there's Apostle Norman, who was on the phone with Pastor before we went live, and that's why he's late. You, young man, made him late. Anyway, I love you anyhow. Hey, Pat, I'm glad you're here, and hope you're doing well, sweetheart. And let's see who else. James D, I'm glad you're here. Been thinking about you too. Been thinking about you playing guitar for us one Sunday. You got to come over here and do that. And we just put you on the live stream. How about that? That would be good. Then, yes, Norman. Yes, Pastor Norman. You are the reason he is late.
No, he ain't.
Yes, he is. He is.
I'm the reason.
You're the reason. You're gonna take your own. Use yourself as a
I'm
reason.
gonna take responsibility.
I see. And there's Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl and Gary. We were talking about you yesterday.
No, today.
That was yesterday. We've had so much going on. I don't remember what day it is half the time. But it's all good. I'm glad you guys are in here with us tonight.
That's what love do you.
Yeah, it is.
Got a blind side to it.
Let me turn all these banners off here. Wow.
I got a duck in my throat, not a frog.
Wow. Yes, you do. You got more than a duck in there. You got a frog in there. Speaking of frogs, last night when I took baby girl out for the last time, night, we were standing out there on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden, I looked down. There was this huge frog. He was as big as this mouse thing. He was as big as this. A white one.
I've been thinking about he's an albino. I've been
he was this big, and he was standing at baby girl's foot. She didn't even know it. And so I looked down, and when she looked down, baby girl jumped up all fours off. All fours. Oh, baby girl's funny. She is funny. I have this olive oil in my bathroom that I use for makeup removal and stuff. And so baby girl likes the taste of olive oil. So I give her just a little bit. I'll pour a little bit on the counter like this, and she'll lick it up. And the other day I got ready to pour some on there, and I didn't do it fast enough. She took her nose and bumped it and made a whole lot of it came out.
That intuition is something. It's really something.
Baby girl's funny. Jill, I'm glad you're here, darling. I'm glad you're here.
Good to have all of you tuning in to us again.
Yes, it is.
We just take a day at a time, sweet Jesus.
We're silly today. You can tell we're silly today.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking of you.
What's the rest? That's not words.
One day.
Those aren't words. Okay. Anyway.
I'm cooling.
We can't go on the road. We wouldn't make it. We would not make it. Let's do an affirmation. Hot dog. Let's do an affirmation.
Hot dog.
Yes. Because we are the best that God ever made, and God ever is, and God ever was. All right. I want you to take a deep breath in and repeat after me, if you would. I cannot become for I already am what I desire to become. Only the body dies. What I am cannot die. I am glorious and complete. Everything I have searched for is all that I now am. I am the image of God. This is not a mental concept, but the truth as it has been discovered. The search is ended, for I have found who I am and who God is. I am is God, and God is what I am. This is the awakening of self to itself. At the awakening, there is no pain, no thoughts that produce pain, no disease, no confusion, just peace and assurance. I look out at others with the eyes of God, without any judgments held against them. I look at my responsibilities with the eyes of God, without dread or regret. At the appearing of my true self, the mind crashes. There is no room for a separate view of self. My mind is completely consumed by the image of God as self. Thinking is not needed. Precognition is not needed. Discovery is all that is needed. And then it is who I am. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.
Brother Gary and Cheryl, I just saw you and in a setting, you and Cheryl, and you was ministering to some people, and they were lined up. I saw the presence of God on you just then so strong that you set every last one of them free. I don't know why she was going through the affirmation thing. I said, what am I seeing? And I saw you and Cheryl in a confrontation with a situation that was trying to interfere with your God identity. And I saw you rebuke everything that tried to stop you from seeing the truth about your God identity. And the people that got delivered were people that was free, because you and Cheryl got free by seeing the truth of who you really are. I just saw that. Praise God.
That's good.
I feel that presence right in my chest. And I see the presence of God dealing with you and Cheryl about her mom and about the family over on that side, and I see, and about the daughter, and I see the presence of God changing your surrounding, because you finally accepted Jesus Christ as your real Savior, in the sense of finding out who your real self is and was and has always been, the eternal essence of God. I just saw that working in you and around you.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Go ahead. What you got on the menu tonight?
Okay. I was talking to Pastor Norman just a few minutes ago before we came back home. I can remember, and this is inquisitioning. I asked God, and the only way I could talk to God then was that I was talk to him in what I understood as a little boy going in a closet. I asked him to change the situation about my environment where I live with the shooting and the rooting and tooting. And do you know, every time and every weekend that came up, I went in that closet and I asked God, please stop this. He never did. He did not stop it. They didn't change my uncle, didn't change anybody. The more I asked God for help, the further away it moved away from me.
Okay.
When I got up old enough, I decided I wasn't going to drink because there was so much abuse in alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Just as sure as Grant run around Richmond. And water don't go uphill unless you force it. I end up drinking and getting drunk just like all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that change didn't come till after I went through what everybody in my house was going through. I had to experience what they did and what they were in. Then all of a sudden in the room, that same liquor house, in the bed, Jesus came in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time I was asking him to help, I didn't get none. I woke up one day this week, the weekend, after taking a nap, and I just sat there and I just bawled like somebody just died. And it did. What I found out in that moment I woke up, I saw myself crying, and I said, now I understand the broken heart of Jesus. When I saw him that Sunday morning, he opened his chest and let me see his heart. I never seen a man broken. And the tears that I was travailing in was from the brokenness of somebody had died. And I found out the truth of this matter. This is rough now. You can pray till you get so thin that you have to run around in the shower to get wet. You can pray until you get so thin you can get in your car without opening the door. You can pray till you and you can pray to the point where if you happen to have gas and pass it, you blow away like a sheet of paper and you still wouldn't have no changes. And I say, God, what is this thing that keeps asking for help and change and don't get it?
Okay. You get an answer?
Yeah.
All right.
He said, everything that's asking God for help and don't get it is the part of you that don't see what has already been done. And
what is being done?
What is not being, not processed.
Been done or
process means it's over.
okay.
I felt tears and travailing and crying and screaming coming out of me, and I woke up. That part that was screaming couldn't get changed through a process. It couldn't get a little bit here and a little bit there. Here a little, there a little, everywhere a little. Jimmy broke his back on a motor in a paper sack, and he didn't get anything. How diddle the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. Little Red Riding Hood could talk all she wanted to. It was not going to be no change until something died.
Right.
And what had to die was the part of us that's looking for God to appease our ego under the disguise of sincerely, earnestly praying to God change things. And then someone say, well, I don't know about that. Sorry. So I prayed and God did change it.
But
but it went back like it was. Something else came up.
Some of us don't have any other kind of relationship with God but that.
Thank you.
That is the only kind of relationship we have with God. He's there to rescue me, and that's it.
I prayed to God inside of my uncle and aunt. I didn't know I was talking to God inside of them. When I prayed to them, I was telling them, please stop killing each other.
Yes.
They
You were
didn't.
praying.
I was praying when I
Yes.
talked to him.
Yes.
God heard me, but he didn't change it. Only thing that changed them, they finally had to die physically, and no more of that physical part that was doing all that crazy stuff had to be wiped out.
Yes. Now Cheryl says thank you for what you're saying to
You're
her.
welcome, honey.
She said that means more to her than you know.
Thank you.
Yes. And Carolyn's rejoicing. And we
Okay.
have Lori here tonight. Thank you, Lori, for tuning in with us. So go ahead and finish what you're saying. Because that's very powerful what you just said.
I know. I was hurt. I was hurt, but I kept wondering who is hurt. I remember when my uncle, who was the meanest, Jesse Jones, Wild Bill Hickok, cut a man's throat in front of the church before the big meeting.
Mm, mm,
Put the knife up there and said, I'll kill you.
mm.
I've seen him come in the house being cut with an axe, open up, bleeding like a hog.
Yeah.
Go to the hospital, come back.
Do the same thing
The
all
same
over again.
thing over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't stop doing that till he got so old, till he got so molded that mold wouldn't even stay on him.
Well, what you're saying, you were very disappointed because there was no
part
change.
of me was disappointed. Yeah.
Yes, that was some part was disappointed because there was no change.
Yeah.
Is it possible that what they were doing that you wanted them to change was because they were disappointed and painful because they didn't get the things that they needed to have changed?
Honey, I saw God this week go off at a distance and turn around and look at me. And he said, I'm going to stay distant in your awareness until something dies. I said, oh, Lord, please don't do me like that. I said,
well, at least he told you.
Yeah. I heard people say, I'm waiting for my help to come. But what you tell me, your help,
not coming.
I'm sorry.
To that one.
Not to that.
To that one.
Not to that one.
To that one that is not
Darling,
you.
I'm telling you, you can rebuttal everything I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you the truth.
There's no need to rebuttal because all of us have experienced that.
Thank you.
We have all experienced God's silence
in
the matter that we want to be changed.
I'm believing that God will change my wife, change my husband,
and most of
my children.
Most of it is for me to feel better. That me that wants to feel better is the one that has to die.
I got used to the wood stove. I got used to coming home from school and had to sit outdoors on the porch till somebody came and opened the door. I crawled in the window and went in there and got something to eat, then crawled back out the window like I ain't been in there.
In the house that you lived in?
Yeah, the house I lived in. And when I came from school...
Now, why did you have to crawl back out?
Because they had padlocked the door and they know that I was not going to... They didn't give a hoot if I got something to eat or not.
Was that because of it being a liquor house?
No, that's just the way they were.
Okay.
It was a liquor house, and they was always scared. Look here. They had 2 or 3 sofas, 2 or 3 coffee tables, 4 or 5 stoves.
A TV on top of
and
the
TV on top of the television. Mm-hmm. And we had one television, and it was the little bitty black and white. They were scared that if I was there and the door was open, I'd go off somewhere and leave the door, and they come back, everything was be stolen, stealing. Now, when I went upstairs to see my mom in the apartment upstairs, her door was never locked.
Okay.
Dracula could have come in there and took everything out. They didn't care till she come home and
nobody ever robbed. Listen, nobody ever robbed her either.
Nope. I went up there when I couldn't get in the house and use the bathroom, and the house was wide open, front door and back door. And then when they come home, you know what? When she got off work and come home, all of them come home at one time. You know what she did? What? Lock the door. Lock the door when they got home, but when they're gone, leave it unlocked.
You had a real interesting childhood.
Okay. I did not ask Jesus to come in that room with my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
But
something in my inner self
some part of you did.
made contact.
Yes. Yes. And that's
It wasn't the part that was crying.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't the part that was asking God to change it.
Mm-mm.
It was the part of God that I was always was.
That
I was always
that
was.
I was always was.
I always was.
Mm-hmm.
That responded to itself.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
I learned something 50 years. I'm telling you. Hey, it took me 50 years to learn this. And here you are getting it in a matter of minutes and seconds.
Yeah.
I think I deserve a raise from the boss man. But I ain't going to get it.
But that thinks it
I ain't
needs a
gonna get it.
raise.
Yeah.
Won't get it.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Now, I'm telling y'all something. Now, listen. Shut your snuff dipping, cigar smoking, snuff dipping, cigar puffing, reefer, pot sucking mouth. Just be quiet. Because that part of you that's the sucking and the blowing and can on ain't going to do nothing but die.
And we've done most of our prayers and been nothing but trying to coerce God.
I ain't playing with you.
Trying to coerce
I am
God.
not playing with you. I'm telling you about life. That's why we call our brick and mortar Cornerstone Life Center, because I talk about life experiences. I ain't talking about faith. I ain't talking about believing. I ain't talking about hoping. I'm talking about reality,
Yes.
facts.
Yes.
Ask yourself the question, what has been in operation from the day you were born to now that has never changed? That's true inquisitioning.
What has been in operation?
Yeah, it's called the I.
Yes, and that's all.
That's it.
That's all.
The only part
and
of you
it has never aged.
never aged. What part of you has changed? What part of your life has changed? Have you changed location, changed job? Ain't none of that real, because it started and stopped. Okay, you started on a job and you retired, 65, 55, whatever, you got a special package. That ain't real. Ask yourself, if it was real, would it still be going on? Yes, but it's not. So it ain't real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
I ain't always been bald head. Something died up there. It died and left a ball. It left a ball. It left a ball. That bald head and these big bald eyes. That's all that's been changed to be what it is now.
But that's seeing it, that's never changed. It's never changed.
I'm telling you this. If we don't never say no more about this tonight, I'm asking y'all to listen. Now you say, my son, he didn't used to be like that. He grew up and ended up being like his daddy. He ended up being one of the biggest drug pushers. Well, God ain't gonna change him. Mm-hmm. Not until something dies.
Well, not God will not change him because we're disturbed.
Thank you.
By that.
Because that part of him that disturbing us is disturbing others, and he is a disturbing instrument, like Judas was a disturbing instrument to Christ. God the Father did not move Judas out of Jesus' life. Something had to die. Judas and Jesus had to die together at the cross. And every one of you had to die. But it ain't enough positionality to prove it to you. You're going to have to experience it.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I can't wait. That's going to die too. Waiting's going to die too. Mm-hmm. You watch.
Kelly did comment on this. She said some scars are opened only to be wounded again. In the scars is the oil. The oil is determined by your scars.
That'll die too.
Hello, John Greason. Glad you're in here. Better late than not.
Everything that's got blood in it, oil in it, air in it, gonna die.
Everything relative to the physical body will die. And that's everything that we as humans have determined to happen in our lives or not happen. those things will be wiped out.
Let me tell you something.
And that's radical.
It
That's
is.
that's
It is.
very radical. I don't
I'm
expect
telling you, it's
I don't
something.
expect anybody to jump up and down over that.
No.
No.
Let me tell you
no.
something else that was going on. I told my wife about it, but I didn't. You guys, this is what I'm going to tell you now.
Sue, I am so glad to see you. I just had you go through my mind, and here you come. Hello, sweetie. Now, go
When
ahead.
I was a little boy, I was about 5, maybe 4. I used to pack my clothes up and tell my uncle, I said, I'm going upstairs and live with my mama.
It was another duplex. It was
Duplex
yeah,
apartment,
four,
and everybody in
what do you
this
call it?
4 of us
What
was
is
in,
it? What is, it's not a duplex when it's 4 apartments.
yeah,
What do they
4
call
apartments, yeah. And
it?
we all right there.
Quadplex?
I don't know what you call it, but anyway. I went upstairs, packed my clothes, went upstairs. I was going to stay with my mama. But when I got up there, my mama was drunk, sitting in front of them dressers that got the big mirror.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She was sitting in front of that dresser at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I wanted to go to bed and sleep. And I didn't want to sleep with my brother and sister because my youngest brother, you slept with him, you ever have a life jacket because he peed all in the bed all the way up till he got about 50 years old.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to sleep with him because I wasn't going to be swimming in my sleep all night. So I went and said my mom. But here's the point. I never said this much to anybody in the family, but I'm saying it to you, family out there. I saw my mama do something toward Jesus that just hit me realistically.
Yeah, you just mentioned it this week. So it just
Yeah.
came to you recently,
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you what she did. I'm a little boy. She sat there in that mirror and looked at herself and talked to Jesus and cried. And she said to Jesus, why did they treat you like that?
So she actually
talked to
identified
God.
with the suffering.
Yes.
Yeah, she was identifying with the
She
suffering.
talked to Jesus and I saw her cry. And I said, everything I said to Mama, I said, Mama, I'm so sorry. She said, you ain't sorry. I said, well, Mama, I don't know what to say to you. So I just cried too, because she didn't accept my sorriness or my
your sympathy, your empathy. Yeah.
She said, you love your uncle and aunt. You don't love me. And then she go back.
And that was her pain talking.
That was her pain talking. Then she went back. She would go to everybody's house in the family and sit there in their mirror and talk to God in pain about the way she was treated. Nobody would let her stay with them in the family. She was out in the street. She didn't have no place to stay. And some of them took her in, some didn't. But here's what I'm saying. She said, Jesus. Now watch this. Why did they treat you like that? My oldest brother heard the same thing. Do you know what he started doing when we were young? He started drawing pictures of Jesus' face. And put some of those pictures. My mom had one up on the wall in the house where she lived. You never did see it, did you?
No.
He would put pictures of Jesus, and that's what got me drawing. So I started drawing pictures of Jesus when we were 4 and 5 years of age. At 4 or 5 years of age, my brother and sister, they were all out in the street. At young age, 16, 15, 16, 17, they didn't have a good life. But Jesus was looking at my mama, talking to him inside of her in the mirror. Now, nobody ever knew this. My sister, if they were here, and my brother, they would say it. Yeah, nobody else in the family knew it. But I had that chance. Now, God did this. He allowed me to see her talk to him in travailing tears. And nothing ever changed. But when I got older, my mama said, we go to such and such a church. They got in the church. They didn't go as deep enough into God as I did. They were just religious.
But
So
there was a change in
there
her.
was a change.
There's a
But it
change
didn't,
in her
my point,
heart.
she did not change until after she went through the suffering.
Yes. She still had to go through the
She had to
suffering.
go through it. And before she died, she was still in pain. My mama suffered pain all through her life.
Physically, yes.
Physical pain
Yes,
all
she
through her
did.
life.
She did.
Now,
But go ahead and finish what
okay,
your thought is.
my point is this. Death to the ego,
Hmm.
death to your request is the only way they're going to be answered.
Yeah.
If there's enough brokenness has taken place, then when the peeling is off of the onion, when the peeling is off of the apple, when everything is dissolved down to the core, what we're doing is helping you, if I can say this, and it's not the best word I want to say, we're helping you to get to that core before it's too late. Because a lot of my people in the family, the core was broken open to them, but they couldn't see it. I don't want you to miss who you really are just because your mind is so wrapped up in the suffering.
So based on what you're saying now, which I agree with all of that you said, based on what you said now, when a person goes through tremendous sufferings that will not change because when they've prayed and asked for God to intervene, then that suffering is the suffering of the peeling off of the false identity.
Yes, that's right.
And
the
so
conditioned self.
So the event or the situation itself is an instrument that God is using to pull and peel off that is not true of us.
That's right. That's
And
right.
it's very painful.
That's right.
It's very painful, but it's necessary and it's divine. It's a divine instrument. So we talk a lot, especially in the non-dual circles, about not suffering. But when there is suffering and it doesn't go away,
no, I don't.
It is then a divine instrument that's being used to peel off that egotistical identities that we've lived in. And I think that's marvelous. That's marvelous.
One of these days, some of you out there are going to finally learn from suffering and empathicness, what it means to, is a reference, to look at homosexuals and same-sex marriages. You're going to be able to look at them with the true eyes of God. See, a lot of people think they're looking at them through the true eyes of God by saying we need to convert them, change them, or kill them, or they're going to hell.
And you're speaking specifically to Christian people, because that's the ones who think like that.
Yeah.
Because our unchurched people, our unchurched spiritual people do not think that way.
Do you know God? Grace, unlimited grace. Love is inside of the heart of every last one. It took me a long time to see what I'm telling you guys. And some of you ain't suffered enough to see this in your false self.
Yeah, I like what Marquesa said, and I guess she corrected it, but it sounds good to me, Marquesa, the way you put it. Your mother's subconscious came down so she was able to reveal this truth.
Okay.
The man in the middle. Or the man in the mirror.
The blocks will have to be overcome by death.
Yeah.
To the fighting, relentless, at that point you don't want to cooperate with nobody. Don't want to work with nobody.
Carolyn calls it the diabolical self.
Oh.
Yeah, it is, and it is. Even
like
though,
that.
even though
Mhm.
it doesn't appear evil, it is a diabolical set. But I was talking to my sister, and sister's on here now. We had the best conversation, and she most of you we've shared how that she was stressing over her job and whatever, and at some point just recently, she decided to let go of the feelings that she had about her job. And when she did, she said when she let go of the feelings that she had about her job, the thoughts that she had about her job also disappeared.
Yes.
And there was left a lightness.
Yes.
And when she let go, it wasn't like, and we talked about this. It wasn't I'm going to let go so that this will go away.
Mhm.
I'm going to let go so everything will turn around. It wasn't, there was no condition attached to the letting go. It was just, I'm going to drop this feeling about my job. I'm going to drop it and I'm just going to do my job. And when she did that, it's so marvelous and awesome. The minute she did that, her director started giving her everything that she was longing for before that happened. They started giving her, they lightened up her caseload, started giving her new equipment. She got a raise, all of this after letting go.
Yeah, that's right.
And what she let go of was the one that was stressing over the job.
Now, I gave up the false Christ in the church and took the real one.
Yes.
The real one was revealed to me over many years until I came to the part that says, I was sick and you visit me not. I was naked, you didn't clothe me. And I was in prison, you didn't visit me. When, Lord, were you in all these things? He said, if you've done it unto the least of them, you've done it unto me. I saw the me inside of y'all that I'm talking to.
Yes.
I saw the me inside of the you, and the you was him inside of the me.
Yes. Now we got some good comments. So here they come. Here comes John Greason. He says, Pastor Sawyer, I lived in a similar situation.
Yes, God.
Yes. Not the same particularly.
Yes,
it felt
God.
like hell.
Yes, God.
Would you say predestination?
Yes, God. When I say, can I speak to him?
Sure.
John,
sure.
It wasn't John that was just in this. Jesus was preserving himself for such a time that God saw fit in your infinite inner identity. And after John got to a place where John was completely limp, which he still ain't complete yet, but he is in the way. He's on the way.
Making, yes.
The more John limps at the death blow of not being able to get anything else done from God, God finds a way to come through. And then when it comes through, you know what it ended up being? Having nothing to do with John, but by pure grace. When it pleased God who separated you from your mother's womb, decided at such a time that he saw fit the death blow John Greason until John Greason was weak as 3-day-old beer.
Ooh, okay.
Weak as duck water.
What's duck water?
The same as duck butter.
Silly. All right.
Hey, John, now the pure gold. It's just like pure gold.
Now, hold up.
Yes, God is real, for I can see him in John Greason's soul.
Okay.
All right, now.
Sue says, it's hard to get the church's ideas out of your heart and mind.
Don't worry about it.
About gay and trans people.
Don't worry about it.
They are equal to straight people in every way.
Yes, that's the blow.
It would be a miracle when everyone is accepted and no longer judgmental. And that will not happen until that is judgmental dies.
Please, please.
That is judgmental.
I don't want to talk about things that fantasize fancy words. I'm telling you where it is. No one can ever forgive homosexuals but Jesus. You can't do it in your conditioned mind, your religious mind, your Bible book reading, You can't even do it by studying the course. You can't. The miracle of the course is really the course in miracle is the miracle of the real you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the miracle.
Yeah, I missed the comment that Linda Langdon did.
Okay.
Linda says, "What about people who are happy in their unhappiness,
Mhm.
or those who believe you have to be long suffering to please God? Suffering becomes an identity." Yeah, and that's not the suffering we're talking about. We're not talking about.
Can I speak to that?
Yes, because we used to have people that would stand up when we used to have people who would testify. This is what we get called it, testimony service. They would say, "Y'all don't know what we've been through, what I've been through. I paid the price."
Linda,
That was their identity.
let me speak to that, Linda. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. That statement you wrote across there, that question, that inquisition there, that will die too. I ain't letting nothing die.
You're not leaving anything off the hook, are you?
Preacher come into my office one time and said, "Nobody wants you, I'll take you." I said, "Don't play with me." He said, "I'll take you." I said, "You playing with me?" I said, "I'll kill everything that's dead, raise it up, and kill it again."
Yeah. Now
my point is this.
Now, and that in those days, you were looking for somebody we needed the validation.
Do you know
when you get where you don't need the validation?
That's right.
That doesn't matter.
That's
whether
right.
They like you or not.
Validation dies. Validation dies. First thing
Linda said it's dead for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you in your personal inwardness how and when you're going to come to the place to see what I'm saying. But I will say this to you.
And you're talking to all of us.
I'm talking about all of us.
Yes.
Now watch this. Let me finish this now. But there is a flavor or an odor or smell that when Mary Magdalene stooped down and took that ointment and put it on Jesus' feet, there was a fragrance that comes into the atmosphere of those who have been broken. Don't try to smell it. Mm-hmm. It will grab your nose if they did by the talk that they talk. And I mean the talk that they talk ain't talking in Jesus' name either. Mm-hmm. It's a normal conversation. You stand there and you smell the fragrance. You'll see the glory of God and the presence of God come through. Won't nobody be trying. You won't be looking. You just be all of a sudden you turn around and then you smell it and you see it. And when you see it, you know it's not something that is so obvious to the that's dying. It is only to those who have died and gone through a certain point, a measure of dying. They smell has opened up to where they can smell the fragrance. And you said this on yesterday when we were talking. I'll remind you that dies is not that resurrects. Thank you. That dies, you must smell the stench of the rot. That's the way God trains your discernment to smell the real fragrance once it is over. He uses the stench of the death of the ego and the boldness of the ego to try its best to imitate Christ. It'll die. And when it dies, the stench sticks to your nose. And then finally, the smell of Jesus comes through. And you can tell. Some people say, well, you don't know. That's angels of lights and demons and all that. That stinks. But when you wake up to the smell of the truth of who God really is, I don't care what form he come in, you'll smell it and you know, but you won't be able to tell anybody else because it's a private. You won't desire to tell anybody. This is what he said. His glory will not be shared with just anybody. It is only shared with the Son. And before you can have part in this sharing of this fragrance, you must fully, totally be sold out to being a son, daughter of God with no reservation. And that reservation ain't going to be there until everything is done. It's a process, but it seems like in the process of it, you can't find where it starts and you can't find where it ends. But take my word, I'm speaking wisdom to you. You are. This is wisdom. You are. This is the kind of wisdom that brings every last one of you to see the suffering. It brings every one of you to see the Christ. In its true form. The suffering runs you to
your true self.
Hear me, please. Hear this. My heart yearns to see Jesus and to get more and more seeing to be seen. I don't want to see him like the mind says. I don't want to see him in a book. I don't want to see him on paper and ink. I don't want to see him in a sermon. I don't even want him to be seen just by me talking. I want you to see him like nobody else can but you, that is equipped and set up and fixed and molded just for you personally. It's a private sector.
It is. It is. It is.
It's a private sector. It's a cubicle thing. It doesn't make you any better, but it sure reveals Christ like you've never seen before. And then your chin would drop and you look back. These are some of the prerequisites to come. I'm just giving you a brief synopsis of. I'm just pointing you the direction.
And it's what you experienced this week. Yeah. So you're not just preaching a message.
No.
Or sermon.
Life is coming out of suffering, and you don't see this in life. Turn around and shake hands with your death blow, because it is the only asset that you'll experience to see what's been crying out all this time to see God. Oh, you're going to see him.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't already seen him, you're going to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. Listen, answered prayers, prayer requests been granted, blessings of miracles of money, miracles of people getting healed and cancer disappearing. That ain't nothing in comparison to when you wake up and see the truth of why you suffered. Why Jesus suffered in the form of your body.
I got a scripture I want to read,
Okay.
if you don't mind. It's in Hebrews 2
Yeah.
and 10. It says, "For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering."
You're already perfect
Mm-hmm.
in the eternal essence. Come out from behind the veil, Jesus. Come out from behind the veil, Christ. Let them that are ready see you. Brace yourself, because some of you out there, I see you sitting down and you're shaking your head. I did that years ago, sitting on the side of the bed. And I looked and I saw Jesus in the bed sleeping next to me. And his name was Antoinette Sawyer. I saw him. That thing shocked me. I got up off the side of it, went outdoors in my pajamas and walked up and down the driveway and shook my head. I said, I never thought I'd see you like this. I said, what? Are you telling me that you are her? He said, yes.
Carolyn says, in the form of your body. And I'm not sure what she referred to, because she must have said something about that.
Mm-hmm.
She's asking if you can explain that.
In the form of my body?
Of your body, in the form of your body.
Okay. When Abraham put Isaac on the altar, he didn't put Isaac down there as a spirit. He put Isaac on that altar as a physical being. Mm-hmm. This is the Old Testament way God was revealing through physical manifestation. Now God expects you to treat your body. Know ye not that your body is the temple of God, which is holy. Yeah, it may be ugly and mean and stinking and all that, but it is a part that God is going to use to reveal Christ, Jesus. See, Jesus now is Marquesa. Jesus now is Sue, John Greason. The John Greason name is attached to the physical body, not your eternal self. So the part of you that is attached to the physical body, which is your name, Linda, Carolyn,
But
That's the part.
we keep looking for evidence of that.
Well, you got evidence,
And when
but you can't see it.
Right. We keep looking for evidence, and that's what throws us off.
Ha! Oh, good.
That's what throws us off.
This thing is juicy. Oh, how I want to see him and look upon his face.
Oh, I want to see him and look upon his face.
Yes.
There to live forever.
Yes.
On his saving grace.
Uh-huh.
On the streets of glory.
Yes.
I can't remember the rest.
Yeah. Go ahead. That's all right.
I can't remember the rest. I can't remember the rest. But I remember that song.
Now listen. Renee, I want to talk to Jesus in you when I see you in the physical body again. I want to talk to the body of Christ, the physical, tangible, blood pumping, burping, sleeping, eye, rashing, itching, scratching, jumping, stinking, washing, bath water, wash dishes, wash clothes. I want to talk to that part of you that I now see as the physical Jesus. But his name is Renee.
Linda says life is a musical at Cornerstone. Yeah, but we don't know the words. We forget the words. It's been so long since we sung all those songs that we've forgotten them.
You know what, baby girl? Let me tell you something, baby darling. There's a part of me that's dying to that. I miss that physical music. Yeah. I had guitar built, gave everybody in my praise team guitars, and it just, that's the part that's great, but it's died. Do you know this pandemic and this monkey thing that's coming up is going to die out a lot of preachers who just been rebellious as hell because they are using their faith and not facts to she's rubbing my elbows. I'm going
because you're moving up toward the screen.
I'm about to get in the screen,
and it's making a sound that's inappropriate. I don't want them to think that.
I know that's my elbow on this table. Hey, she think I'm passing gas. My elbow.
It sounds like that.
Oh, yes, I ain't paying attention to you, girl. Look, this thing that I'm talking about is just as real as you sitting down in a restaurant eating a prime rib steak. I'm using it as a metaphor. I don't want one, but I'm just using it.
The joy, the lightness doesn't come until that needs to die dies.
And you know what? In actuality, in the revelatoriness,
it's already happened, hasn't it?
Watch this. Before you came into this box, Jesus said, they will crucify me, and in 3 days I'm coming back. Mm-hmm. I will stand before the Sanhedrin and the elders, and they will crucify me, bury me, put me in a tomb. And he said, he prophesied to himself, prophesy to yourself and say, there will be a time when this suffering will bring me to the final opening of the grave, and the stone will be rolled back, and I will come out. Oh, no, not I, but Christ will come forth. And you said, I've been waiting for this moment, for death to reveal its full power of revealing the truth of I am. Oh, glory be to God. Glory be to God. Glory be to God. Glory, glory, glory. Glory, glory.
It's real to you.
Glory be to God. Glory be to God. Glory be to God. I ain't talking about seminars, workshops, retreats, revivals, sages. What I'm talking about is the real teacher showing up. Is who you've always been. You will not, I'm going to quote this to you, you will not escape this death because it is the focal point of revealing the resurrected Christ that you are.
Yes.
Come to me, all you that labor and are heavy laden,
and I will give you
rest. But this rest will not reveal itself to that is tired. The rest is the revelation
Mm-hmm.
of your true self.
Yes, it is. That's right.
That's your resurrection.
It is.
I'm speaking of your resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking to
the resurrection.
Listen, my ear is tuned in to all of you at once, universal, that's listening to me. And some of y'all are listening whose names are not on the side of this site.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you listening.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get this.
Mm-hmm.
There is a river.
So when Jesus said, I am the resurrection.
Thank you. He's talking about us.
When he said that about himself,
He said it.
I am the resurrection.
No one resurrects from the grave but Jesus.
And that was after he cried about Lazarus being
Nobody
dead.
will resurrect but
So
Jesus.
he still
Christ.
Experienced grief.
He did.
But he realized,
Glory be to God.
I am the resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, with each one of you, as this takes place, there are several things maybe that's going to take place, and the sign of it will be your eyes will come open to discernment, your smell will heighten, your knowing will know, your walk will change, your empathicness will change, and and then the ego will say, well, this came because you was reading the Bible, you prayed, and you read the course. I'm not against it, okay? I'm just telling you.
But it won't be because
I can give you the signs. I'm giving you the signs of this thing, death working in me, life working in you. Oh, I'm telling you. Oh.
So the pursuit of happiness needs to be let go of.
I used to hear my aunt sing an old song years ago. She said, Jordan River.
Now you're going to sing
I'm
again.
bound to cross.
Oh, that's old here.
Jordan River, I'm bound to cross. Oh, Jordan River, I'm bound to cross. I got one more river. I got one more river. I got one more river to cross. Mother, she'll be waiting, and she can't help me to cross. Woo! God Almighty.
He has popped.
Woo! God Almighty. Woo! Woo! Lord have mercy.
Look, my
Lord
sweetheart,
Lord
my muse in California, Terry, has joined us.
Oh,
Terry Wade.
Lord Jesus.
And she said, sing it.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, my God.
Oh, my goodness. That's what happens when it's real to you, and it's so real.
Oh,
it goes so deep in your emotions.
I got one more river to cross. No.
Oh, folks, we've been here an hour. We have been here an hour.
I feel a song in my heart, singing down in my soul.
Sing it with us, Apostle Norman. Sing it. And Marquesa said you're on a roll tonight. We're on a roll tonight.
You don't get many of these, but just take advantage of it,
You get this when you made self-discoveries this week.
Yes.
And so it's not coming from anything read. It's not coming from anything that was learned. Mm-hmm. It's coming from your own seeing. Didi says, sing, Rev.
Oh, yes, girl. I'm going to tell you, girl, now watch out now. You don't want to sing them all. Oh, my God. Here my puppy coming. My baby girl just came up. She just came.
She knows it's been an hour.
Yeah, she knows, baby.
And Marquesa, it's not because we don't have the time, baby. Yeah. But a lot of times, if you go longer than an hour, most people tune you out. Yeah, and I looked at the analytics last week, and it looked like a lot of people only watch us about 15 minutes anyway. But yes, we should have more time, and we can do that at some point. Linda says, thanks for the wisdom and the laughter and the music.
I love you. I love you with this heart.
Yes. I
take this heart of God and I reveal to you, out of every death blow that's ever touched your life, I can promise you Jesus Christ is revealing himself
Yes, he
in it.
is. Yes, he is.
Don't miss it.
Yes, yes.
I don't want
yes.
to miss this. I don't want to miss this because it is the only thing that suffering can reveal. It is a suffering. It was made. It's like the deer in the field, a creature made subject to vanity, unwillingly. If you had anything to do with this suffering, you would have stopped it in your condition.
Yes,
but you can't
by
stop
all
because
means.
it's out of your hands.
Because the one that wants to stop it is the one that's dying.
It's out of the range of natural understanding. Superpower of the grace of God. Superpower of the move of grace. Not the greasy grace that you cook eggs and fish in and you try to cook steak. It's the grace of God that is so pure that goes through this suffering because it is determined to come forth in the resurrection power in your true identity. You can't stop it.
Can't stop it. Can't stop it. Sue says she wished she had known the two of us when we were in the big Greensboro church. You hear that?
I heard you,
Yeah.
yeah. In the big green. Honey, let me tell you something. I miss it, but I got to die.
That has to die.
It died. My assistant pastor came by. He got a building, and he said yesterday, he said, y'all welcome to use my building, but I can tell. Let me tell you something right quick. When there's been enough death take place in this arena that we're talking about, your discernment will be so keen that if anybody offer you anything, you will be able to tell from what source they're offering it to you from. And you won't have to pray about it, read about it, fast about it. Your ears are now being transformed into the ears, hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling of God, the truth of your true identity. Thank you very much. I appreciate all. Look at my girl. See her standing there? That's my baby girl.
She's scratching the floor, but she's
That's
fine.
the baby girl.
Yes, baby girl does know the time.
Yeah, it's time
Jill
to go.
says that message resonated with her. And she said we should have Marquesa said we should have an in-person season sometime. We would love to, but we also don't want to miss all of the ones that are listening to us that can't get here physically. And I think that's the only reason we haven't pushed it, because we have so many who are not in this area that are listening to us, and we don't want to slight them as well. And
Miss Linda, I wish I could bring baby girl to you in person, let you see her.
I know.
She would love you. She would love all of you.
She would.
People that come up to the Jeep in the car while she's in there, she do not allow them to get in close to it. She'll go after them like a wild beast. But if she was out of the car, it would be fine. But she's a territorial being.
Oh, gosh, yeah. But anyway.
Okay.
Yes. So we thank you guys. Terry, thank you, sweetheart. She said God's grace is so great. Yes, it is, sweetie.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And Cheryl sending you love, sending us
Please
love.
do. Yes.
Marquesas.
Yeah, thank you, Mama.
Baby girl still looks in people's pocketbooks to try to find a treat, Marquesa, because you trained her to do that.
Yeah, you sure did.
Sissy, I love you, sweetheart. Apostle Norma, are you going to be with us Thursday? Are you going to be with us Thursday for impromptu? Let me know. Because we've been missing you.
Sure have.
We have been missing you. So hopefully you'll be able to get on with us on
Diana
Thursday.
Ross,
We will
Diana
be
Ross
back.
got a song like that. Oh, I've been missing you.
Yeah. We will be back on Thursday at 12:30 for impromptu. At least Pastor and I will, hoping that Pastor Norman will be with us. He says yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, KK. Bye, you guys. We love you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
I'm going to play a little bit of Vincent's music for you. Vincent Crenshaw music that he gave us and said we could play it anytime. What you doing?
Playing with baby girl and you. Yeah, the baby girl.
Why is it not making any sounds?
Look at her, baby. She's trying to call the point. Oh, baby girl.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay.